All right, this is Cleopatra, the Royal Diaries, part 5 by Kristiana Gregory here. And we are starting on page 43, the 16th of February. I wait. Olympus will send word when it's time. My guards stay near, even when I bathe, though they stand behind a screen with a harpist. In addition to a sword, Puso also has small daggers strapped to the inside of each sandal. His gold armbands are woven with chains that can quickly be thrown around an enemy's neck to strangle him. Death takes only a few seconds. I watched him practice this on prisoners who were to be executed. Not a pleasant sight. Though I know Puso is always ready to defend my life with his, I'm still not sleeping well, and my stomach is nervous. In my heart, I fear being poisoned. So I assigned a new slave to taste my food. I do not know his name. I do not want to know his name, but he's alive, thank the gods. Because my life is in danger, Neva and I haven't been to the Agora in 4 weeks, nor visited the stables. Poor Bucephalus is left to the care of the horse master. Yesterday, another note was nailed to her stall with a warning. If I'm seen petting her, an assassin will throw a spear through both of us. Oh, this causes me anguish. Who is it that wants me dead, and where are they? Can they see me now? I spend many hours listening to Neva read, but when her voice grows weary, I walk to the library to meet Olympus. As he is fluent in Latin, as well as his native Greek, he has been helping me learn to speak as the Romans do. It's a harsh language. It sounds like pigs grunting, in my opinion, but I'm determined to communicate with the barbarians if need be. I'll be wiser if I understand their words. Did I mention that one of his favorite exercises is to translate Latin into Greek and then the Greek back to Latin? He says it helps him develop his vocabulary and his writing skills. Olympus and I also enjoy spending time with our good friend Theophilus, who lives in the eastern part of the city in the Jewish quarter. His ancestor was one of the 70 men who translated Hebrew scriptures into Greek, and this translation of the Torah is called the Septuagint. For reasons unknown to me, there are as many Jews living in Alexandria now as in Jerusalem. Their synagogue here is huge. The 3 of us have spent hours in the courtyard talking together and discussing our different religions. Oh, I enjoy their companionship. They told me I'm wasting my time visiting Alexander the Great. He's not the Messiah. His body will stay in the tomb until someone buries it or dumps it into the sea. They feel quite strongly about this. Theophilus, whose name means one who loves God, right? Theo is God, and Phil, Phil is love. One who loves God, says his family is descended from Moses, the Jew who led the people out of Egypt. I reflected on this and asked him why they came back to Egypt if they wanted to leave. Our conversation was interrupted by a messenger who bowed quickly and then reported to me that King Ptolemy's ship was heading out to sea for Rome. I jumped up. No, I thought, it can't be. In minutes, I'd returned to the palace, disguised myself, and was hurrying with Neva through the streets. We ran the long mile over the Heptadian to Pharos Island. Puso, this time dressed as a poor fisherman. From the top of the lighthouse, I would be able to see for myself if father had returned from hiding and was now leaving Alexandria. The lighthouse master is an old bent man. He knows I am a princess in disguise, but he'll never betray me. Years ago, when he lived in Rome, he was caught gossiping about Julius Caesar and was given a choice: to be executed, crucified on a cross like a common Roman criminal, or have his tongue cut out. He chose life, but without his tongue, he'll never be able to speak. I asked him what ship had left the harbor. Was it father's? No, he gestured. Come see for yourself. He led us inside. The ground floor is shaped like a huge square. with offices and storage and sleeping rooms. Stacks of firewood fill two sides. There are many types of wood, some brought down the Nile from our jungles, and some from the forests of Phoenicia. Cedar trees then, right? I looked straight up. The two spiral ramps with steps cut into them twist upward, far up to the top, where the lantern sits like the flame of a giant candle. A donkey was pulling a cart loaded with wood up one of these ramps, and another was coming down the other ramp. All night, all night. The great fire must be fed. To continue. The lighthouse master motioned to us to follow him, to keep close, as close to the wall as possible. There are no railings. One misstep and we'd fall to our deaths. I worried that this could happen because the ramp was slippery from all the donkey dung, and a bitter stench made me feel sick. With one hand, I held a veil over my nose, and with the other, I firmly pressed against the stone wall. As we passed each small open window, the breeze refreshed me. I could see blue ocean far, far below us. The sight was dizzying. For a moment, I imagined myself falling, a thought so vivid my heart raced. But, oh, the view. The sea blended so perfectly with the sky. I couldn't tell where one began and the other ended. Below us, the city looked like tiny building blocks had been arranged by a child, white marble blocks gleaming in the sun. The streets were dark strips between the blocks, moving slowly like a stream of ants. Beyond the palace, I recognized the hippodrome. Dotting its track were miniature chariots pulled by miniature horses, circling around and around. They looked like my brother's toys. And nearby were the stables, though I couldn't catch sight of Bucephalus. Far to the west were the vast yellow sands of the Sahara Desert, with a green mark near the coast, an oasis perhaps? And in the other direction, the Nile flowed into the Mediterranean. Now I know what birds see, I thought. Are the gods up here too, looking down on us as if we are the ants? Can Isis see me right now? Is she up here or is she in her temple? The higher we climbed, the more walls slanted in. The air was hot from a loud roaring furnace directly overhead. The mighty beacon of Alexandria. My neck ached from looking up. I could see a high ledge outside one of the windows where a statue of Poseidon looks out over the ocean. A man wearing an iron mask and iron netting over his shirt was heaving wood on the pyre. I wondered if the iron made his skin blister from the horrible heat. Doesn't sound like something that would be a good thing to shade your face from heat. Warm up and burn you. The lighthouse master held his arm out so we would go no further. He pointed to a huge round mirror. It was polished glass, curved like a shallow bowl, but much clearer than the dome over Alexander. Another man in protective clothes was turning it slightly. To my delight, I could see a moving picture in the mirror. It was as clear and near to me as my hand. I saw blue ocean. A boat was sailing up over the swells, the waves cresting in white foam. A seagull hovered above the mast. This was a trireme, a swift warship with 3 banks of oars on each side. I quickly looked out the window in the same direction, but only saw blue. Princess, Neva shouted, it's the magic mirror, the one Olympus told you about. Oh, it was a magic thing to see something so close that was so far away. So this is one of the machines our astronomers have discovered. The pleasures of seeing this for myself is hard to put into words. Above all, I'm comforted, for I see no royal flag on that ship, and the oars were made of wood and not tipped with silver like ours. This meant my father, the king, was not on board. He was still here on land, somewhere. The 27th of February. Words just come. The messenger who delivered the tablet was an Ethiopian boy about 6 years old. He bent so low, he tipped over and tumbled at my feet. He started to cry with fear as Neva helped him up, the poor little one. I kept my royal stance, but I smiled at him when he looked up. No doubt he'd been trained that when he bows, his neck is at the mercy of Cleopatra's sword. But I don't carry weapons. They're heavy and they put snags in my dress. I waved the guards off so the boy could back out of the room unharmed. Carrying the tablet over to the window where it was light, I broke the seal, untied the string, and read the message from Olympus. He'd seen my father after weeks of hiding. King Ptolemy and his loyal advisors had finally sneaked back into Alexandria and were in the harbor, ready to set sail for Rome. He wrote, "Hurry, Cleopatra, but beware. Do not eat anything or drink anything. Friends of Tryphena have been hired to poison you." Quickly, I rubbed out the words and motioned to Neva. "Now we must hurry. I'll write about this day later." Okay, so I think we can keep going. This is the 15th of Marchus, so we just jumped ahead a good 16 days. And so now Cleopatra is aboard King Ptolemy's ship. We've been at sea for days. Neva's ill as she is, has cared for me like a sister and reads to me whenever I ask. Dear one, now she's sleeping below at my insistence. I too have been ill from the constant rolling of our ship. What looked beautiful on the top of Pharos Lighthouse now seems gray and cold and unfriendly. I wish I felt better. I'm also nervous. Pirates were seen the other day hiding in a small cove of a small island, but we outran them. Our helmsman ordered our royal purple sails to be replaced with white ones, like those used by common fishermen, until we reached the safe harbor of Rome. It is the Ides of Marchus, as the Romans call the middle of March. It's the unluckiest day of the year. I curse their sea god Neptune for such a rough voyage. Is he under the waves pushing up his arms, or is he quarreling with our god Poseidon? Wherever they are, I wish they would afflict someone else. During the long days, our oarsmen pull and pull as our boat climbs the waves. The waves breaks through the curling tops, slides down into the troughs, and then up again, hour after hour after hour, day after day. Finally, I'm used to the drumbeat that helps the slaves keep time. At night, the drum stops so they could sleep and let the wind work the sails. But then the sun is out. I'm still wrapped in a cloak because of the breeze. Low clouds sit on the horizon, gray with black downward streaks. It feels as if a storm is waiting for us. I write this sitting against the mast. A sail overhead is stiff with wind. My brave man Puso is doubled over the side, emptying his stomach out onto the waves. Even gladiators like Spartacus are said to have felt weak at sea. I'll give him privacy and turn my eyes to this paper. The first sheet of papyrus I started writing on earlier today was ruined when its waves struck the bow and poured onto the deck. I had to quickly jump up, but my papers and my dress were already soaked. I'll try again now. I think that's a good place to stop. So stopping on page 52, and we'll pick up there next time. Bye.